Welcome to The More You Don't Know. I'm your host, Ferris33, and this is a podcast about the invisible forces that shape us. It's hard to be religious when you have a big butt. That's what a friend of mine said a long time ago. And I thought about it a lot, and I dwelled on the meaning of the words, and I was convinced that it was something to do with morality or the values that she inherited. And I was thinking, that's an invisible force, right? That has shaped her sense of self and other people's sense of self and how they conduct life. I think we don't really consider how vast morality is, right? It's a very fluid concept. Yet we adhere to it very strictly, right? To the extent of you could be jailed for something that's immoral but also illegal, right? We get a lot of our legal system from the human sense of morality. I read something that said that all religions believe that murder is a sin. It's like a universal sin. And, I found a lot of comfort in that. I think it's good to know. But there's also a lot of variation in what we believe. I grew up around a lot of different religions. Everybody kind of had like a different variation of a value system that they inherited, right? We were just kind of cosplaying our parents mentally and making the decisions that they would make because we were so young. I had a neighbor, he was Ghanaian. His father was a pastor, they're a very religious family, and we would hang out like every day, but I remember he wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter, and this was like at the prime peak of Potterism, and he was like so steadfast, right? It was like, he fell away, and that's something morality does, right? It makes us feel things. We feel it when we abide by it, but we also feel it when we don't abide by it, right? We feel good when something is quote unquote moral, but if we were to do something like steal or do something that we were taught isn't correct, we could feel shame. Shame is kind of like the light bulb of morality. It kind of flashes when we feel we're doing something that is against our internal value system. And that feeling is really where I think morality originally comes from. I think it's innate. I think we're born, I think babies have a sense of not to harm. I've never heard of a baby killing somebody, so I think that they know something. Maybe they know the universal truth of not killing. In a lot of Eastern traditions, they view children as being fresh from whatever's before this universe, so that they have some innate divine knowledge. A lot of yoga poses actually come from the poses that kids naturally do. But our sense of morality, right, it comes from essentially our parents, because what do people say when you're a kid and you do something you're not supposed to do? Don't you know better? Who are your parents? Who raised you? They're saying somebody didn't properly instill this user manual in your mind. You're just all over the place, right? And I think morality also keeps us in a societal structure. It kind of gives us a way to know what's up and what's down, but we don't even agree on it, and it's always changing. But the impacts of not following this code are potentially very dangerous. So I think people always need to keep their ears to the compass, the universal compass that everybody's following, and it sways. I feel it swaying now, actually. I feel like we're entering a weird era of people kind of going back, but we can't even agree on morality. How are we going to teach it, teach morality to AI? We have to all agree on what's right and what's wrong. And I think the battle of ideas, mental codes, yeah, If you were to go somewhere in like a remote village and tell a guy to do something that he would normally do, he would probably feel like a sense of shame, right? So I think shame is taught through the values you inherit. And whether having a big butt impedes your religiosity or not,